the fair winds blow. Our home is where the waters flow. We'll show you what we've come to know on board while sailing wisdom.
Can you sleep?
It's so rolly.
Yeah. So the issue is there's a swell coming in from the north and it just pours right in this cove. But it's beamed to the wind. So we're pointed to the wind and then we're just rolling in the sea. Would you like me to put on a swell bridle?
Yes.
Do you know what a swell bridle is?
No, but will it stop the swell?
Well, I can say it's a bridle that's pretty swell.
So a swell bridle is literally a bridle that you set up so that your boat hangs not straight off the anchor. So normally when you anchor, the bow is attached to the anchor rod, or in our case a mooring ball, and then the boat just hangs off of that. With a swell bridle, that then splits and goes to the bow and to the stern. So then you can actually control the attitude of the boat and have it aim into a sea rather than aim directly towards the anchor. So it's pretty much a system so that you can then pivot the boat around however you need it to be. That way you can face the waves and sleep comfortably. All right, it's time for a range test. So we're here in Hawks Nest Bay in St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands, and we are going to Trunk Bay. And we thought, hey, why not make it a range test? See what our electric motor can actually do. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna sail from one bay to the other like we always do. We're gonna motor purely with our electric engine. We're free.
Okay.
So for those of you who like the numbers, we are motoring at 67 amps, which is 3 kilowatts, and our speed is 3.5 to 3.7 knots. It depends, you know, if we just hit a wave right on the bow. It slows us down a little. And we are towing our dinghy. So that's our situation. We have about a mile to go to get to the next bay. It's just gonna be really relaxed. We started off with 80% battery charge, and we set one of the solar panels to be charging while we're motoring. So it's kind of falsely inflated the percent charge number to 93% right now. But when we get there, we'll turn off the solar panel and we'll see what the actual charge is again for you guys. So we start at 80 and we'll end at something much lower than 80.
Yeah, we're not sailing, are we, Charlie? It's a little different, huh?
Yeah. So normally we sail everywhere, as you guys know, but today we decided, let's give the electric motor a little bit of a range test. We've never actually just purely motored somewhere, and being how we have these lead acid batteries right now, and when we get to the ICW, we plan on switching them out for lithium. It'd be nice to have a little bit of a baseline of what does lead acid perform like, so that way when we get our lithium, we know how much more awesome they are.
The great thing about the electric motor is that there is no sound, basically. It's so silent. I mean, listen to it at its loudest.
So how's motoring?
It's not nearly as fun. I gotta say, I prefer sailing. I don't understand why people do this. It's like, the boat is less balanced, so like it's a lot more rocky. And it's just like it's just like driving a car. There's no like fun or skill or anything involved.
We're almost there. We're here. Got it. Okay, so that mile took us a half hour to do, which means we were averaging 2 knots into the wind and into the waves. So not great speed, but also not best conditions for it. Our motor bank is down to 50%, and that beeping is the 50% alarm. So with lead acid batteries, we consume 30% of our batteries in a half hour, motoring at 70 amps or 67 amps, 3 kilowatts to get here. Now, our motor is a 20 kilowatt motor. I have it governed to 20% of its power, so it runs at 3 kilowatts full throttle. Now, if I take the governor off, we can obviously go much faster, but then our batteries also last much less time. So with our motor at full power, like 20 kilowatts and full throttle and all, our batteries would be dead in 17 minutes. Now we'll go 7.5 knots, which is awesome, but just not for very long. So I have it governed down. That way you can just set it full throttle and you don't have to be, you know, nitpicking how many amps am I doing exactly. Just, it's set to an amount that I'm comfortable with how much it burns up in the amount of time. So that's it. We are now in Trunk Bay and we're gonna go explore. Okay, the mooring balls here at Trunk Bay are in a very rolly place, so we're not gonna stay here tonight. And we're going snorkeling.
We are gonna go swimming.
We're gonna go swimming. We're gonna see that national park underwater hike trail, snorkel hike?
Snorkel hike.
Shike. Snike.
Snike.
We're gonna go do that snike, and then after we do the snike, we're then gonna keep going and we're going to Maho Bay or Cinnamon Bay, one of them. Wherever there's a ball that's available, that's not here, because no. Now that we've done our little motoring test, are we gonna motor to the next ball?
No.
Why are you turning that way?
I'm so glad that we did this entire trip in the order that we did it. 3.5 years ago, we left to come to the Caribbean, and we ended up going across the Atlantic instead and doing a very long route to the Caribbean. We went to Europe and the Mediterranean, and we saw Africa and South America, and then 3.5 years later, we got to the Caribbean. Now that we're here in the Caribbean, I am so glad that we did all of the other adventures that we had first. I'm so glad we did things in that order, because if we'd come down to the Caribbean first, we would never have left. It's so beautiful here. It's every day is easy. Every day is relaxing. It's just beautiful. And we snorkel and swim and relax on the beach. I mean, what more could you want? But the thing is, if we had come here first, we would have missed out on everything else that we did. And I think that we really would have missed out. If you've been following us for the past 3.5 years, you know we've been on some amazing adventures, and it hasn't been easy at all. It's been the opposite of the Caribbean in a lot of ways. But that isn't a bad thing. It's been rewarding and amazing. And now we've earned our time here. Sailing in the Caribbean is different from any other sailing that we've done in so many ways, but the biggest way is that we do day hops. And that's a completely new thing for us. We usually do like 10-day trips at the least. And I must say, this is a fabulous way to live on a boat. Just day hopping from one place to another, feeling that beautiful wind in your hair, and then going for a swim at anchor. Now the cool thing is, we get to sail almost every day here, which is so much fun. But it's so strange because we'll be at anchor or we'll be sailing and we see tons of boats pass us every day. And almost none of them are sailing. They're motoring. And what's awesome for us is that, yes, we have our electric motor and we can use it here. And it's been actually really great to have it. but it still doesn't take away from that fact that we're sailing. Except today, we didn't even put sails up, and that was a first for us. It was really strange, and I didn't much like it actually, but it was incredibly convenient, because especially the second run from Trunk Bay to Cinnamon Bay, we just motored for about 20 minutes and got to our destination. So I will say, I'm glad we have a motor. A lot of people ask why we even bother with an electric motor at all if we're going to sail all the time, but it is nice every now and then, if you're doing a really short stint, especially upwind, to just turn on that motor and go. And the best part is, no smell, no sound. It's almost like we're drifting along with the current, except there is no current.
So to sail off a mooring, the first thing you need is everything ready. Jibing.
So we actually had something really cool happen to us today. Thanks for watching this episode of Sailing Wisdom. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next Rigging Doctor episode. And if you're interested in even more Rigging Doctor awesomeness, consider becoming a patron to see all of our extras. Can't wait to see you next time as you join us out here on the high seas.